takes more than guts to be a gangster. It takes good ideas, and I hope these ideas help you. Hey, what's up, guys? This is your mob boss, GangsterKT, and have a very important video today. And guessing this is on everyone's mind, but this video is going to be about should I buy T18 with gold? And the Cliff Notes answer is yes, but very carefully and deliberately. So I think this is the most important decision in the game right now. Gold is the most valuable resource. I hear a lot of people complaining they're out of gold, and this new T18 offering in the supply store is going to really impact that overall balance. So let's talk about this decision. So first off, this is not to brag, but do want to build up my credentials here a little bit because I feel I've managed this incredibly well. So I am free to play. I used to buy the new character offer, but have never really bought anything that would impact the gold economy. So did want to mention that. I was able to max out the last gold orb opening event, which I did for the T17 pieces there and those blue ISO 5 potential orbs that were there. And still have about 50 gold orbs left. I also was able to max Nova immediately when I got him. It's hard to see in that picture, but I still have about 17 million gold after doing that. And I started around 36 million before I did that. So definitely put a hit on me, but was really excited about Nova and so wanted to take him up immediately. And I've done this by just being extremely deliberate on my gold spending over really the past month. I haven't put more into the invaders than what I need because I'm already autoing Doom 3.5 with the low power invaders I have. So like those types of things make a huge difference. And I'll say I've really been playing with my head for gold spending instead of my heart. And not the head I make a lot of my life decisions with, but with my brain. Actually using that brain to make these decisions, being very analytical and very deliberate. So hopefully you feel you can trust my advice, and I think I have some really important advice here for going forward. So let's start out talking about the T17 upgrade, which was another video I did a few months ago, and my recommendation to not buy that. And then look at what's changed with this T18, because I see a lot of people saying like, hey, just like the T17s, these T18s are available now. And that's fair, but it's a completely different dynamic and decision. So if you see this table here, this was my initial analysis on the T17 costs and comparing that to the level 95 cap increase that happened right around the same time, maybe at the exact same time. And if you remember, the results were to take one tune to T17, it was between 18 million and 30 million gold if you bought all those pieces in the supply store. Comparing that to 4 million gold to take a character from level 90 to 95, at the time it was really a no-brainer. To be using that gold for leveling and with that increased level cap and not on those T17 pieces. But on the right here, let's talk about what's different with this T18. So first off, T18 is the bottleneck for Dark Dimension 6. That's the only thing that's going to matter. That's the only gate. When we were talking about T17 for Apocalypse, that was not the case. It was important, obviously, as you know, to get through the hardest nodes on those sagas. But it was the blue ISO 5 that was truly the bottleneck. So T17 progress wasn't critical for Apocalypse timing, with, I mean, some impact there that people know about, but in general, it wasn't the main bottleneck, whereas T18 is going to be. So especially if you're racing for DD6, which if you're racing, this advice isn't for you. I'll take your advice for how to do that. But being free to play, this isn't a race for me. So, but really important, and do want to get ahead of that as I can. I think most importantly, as you've seen, the T18 upgrade is huge. I've seen videos showing just like a 20% overall stat increase from the upgrade itself, not counting what you get from the actual gear. And that's reminiscent of T14 and how important that upgrade is, and really like basing our roster optimization around just that one upgrade and changing how we geared up characters. So I think it's going to be similar with how impactful they made this T18 upgrade. Next, there's not a corresponding level increase right now. So, you know, a lot of people probably have their best tunes to level 95, and that's where I am. I don't have a ton there, but I have my best ones there, the guys that I play day in and day out and really rely on for Crucible, for War, for Arena. And so right now, differently than when this T17 decision was there, this is probably the only way to improve our best tune. So, you know, their priority T17, their priority 95. so that you can't like have an opportunity cost of this gold to try and buy something else to improve the tunes. There's nothing there. So that does make this a lot different, and this is the only way to max out your best tunes. So I'll say if you're doing this, what you're doing is you're really trying to make smaller long-term improvements on your best tunes, the quote-unquote S-tier tunes, that'll have a huge payoff when you actually get that upgrade. And you're going to be doing it at the cost of leveling your A and B tier tunes. Now for the T17 analysis, those levels were more valuable or just as valuable as that upgrade. But again, for T18, that's not the case. That upgrade is huge. So, I've always preached trying to make your best tunes as powerful as possible, and this is really the only way to do it. As an incremental benefit, doing this, you will get a head start on DD6. Again, this isn't an approach to race, but getting that head start, feeling good about your positioning and when you'll be able to clear DD6, I think will be important for the game long term. So the summary of this is T18 is different. If you can see in the pictures, 218 pieces is 400,000 gold, which is slightly more expensive, or 33% more expensive than what the T17 piece was. And additionally, it takes 22 of them to power up our character, which is also more. So this is a more expensive upgrade. But again, because of these dynamics listed on the right and what I've talked through here, this is well worth the money. But we're going to have to be very, very careful with this. And when I say money, I mean gold, not real dollars. So the T18 is different. So what are we going to do? How are we going to manage our account and change how we play based on this analysis? All right, so what immediate adjustment is the mob going to make based on that analysis? So first off, I think it's going to be really important over the next few months to balance gold spending on T18 and leveling new tunes. And specifically, I'll say the Nowhere. That's who I'm focused on right now and who I will be for the next patch. I also want to say T17 is even worse value than before. So if still don't buy these with gold, it's not worth it. Now that there's more availability in the Crucible store, that should be the main source. And they did not drop the price on these T17s when T18 came out, which was very surprising. So still do not recommend buying T17. Gold is the most important resource in this game by far right now. There's no question. Again, a lot of people are running out of it, so get ahead of that. Make sure you're using gold where it's the most valuable. And I'll say how you balance this, your ability to really be deliberate on this, is really going to impact your ability to min-max your account over the next few months. I think this is probably going to be the most important dynamic there because of how important gold is. So the way I'm going to approach it, again, I am going to buy T18, but we can't just buy every piece that's going to be in the store, or we're going to be completely broke and not be able to build up new tunes. So what I'm going to do is try and focus on 2 origins or tunes at a time. What I don't want to have happen is have 5 tunes that are almost there to the upgrade where I've spent just ridiculous amounts of gold and have never actually like got that T18 upgrade benefit on anyone. In an ideal world, you do it 1 character at a time, but that's probably going to be too slow. So I'm going to focus on 2 at a time. I'm probably going to focus on Nova and Red Hawk for my first 2, but I am still deciding that. But again, I think just being very deliberate, picking your places where you're going to buy those, not just buying them every time you see them because you will go broke, and balancing those purchases with still bringing up the new tunes that you'll need is going to be really, really important to the game. So that's how I plan to approach this, and that is what I'd recommend everyone in the mob do as well. So that is it from my video today, guys. Again, I think this is just an extremely important dynamic in the game and wanted to get what I'm going to do and my advice out to you because this is something I've put a lot of time into thinking about and really think this is the right approach if you're free to play and if you aren't really pushing Dark Dimension 6. So as always, I give you my word that this is the best advice I have. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Peace.